Um, Let me allow you to introduce you to our next speaker, and she is Leon Muller. And Leon and I had a call not so long ago. And yeah, I'm a big fan of Refugee Force. What they do is really great, and I think she's best to tell us what the Refugee Force is about and what it can do for you, because we were just also discussing. Okay, I hear myself twice. We were just also discussing how to find new people. Well, Refugee Force is a new way of a new talent pool, so to say. But Liam Muller, the floor is yours. Tell us more about Refugee Force.
Thank you, Jaap. Thank you very much. It's lovely being here, and it's been such an insightful conversation for me as well. So thanks for that. My name is Leon Miller, and I'm the Marketing and Commercial Director for Refugee Force. And Refugee Force is a social enterprise that was founded in 2018. We train refugees or newcomers in Salesforce, and then we help them to find jobs. So in essence, it addresses two common problems. On the one side, you've got refugees coming to Europe with amazing skills and talent, but their skills are not recognized, or their certifications are not recognized. There's often language barriers, and then you get situations where an engineer from Yemen will end up working in a supermarket, and you just think, like, this is not right. So they end up being unemployed or underemployed, and this is the issue that we're addressing. The second one, and this was mentioned earlier on the call, is the war on talent. We have this massive talent gap, and at the same time, you've got this Salesforce ecosystem that is growing. The entire tech ecosystem is growing, so we can't keep on working. We can't keep on trying to get from talent from the same source. So we have to add new talent to the ecosystem, and we found that Salesforce is really good. It's an excellent community of partners, customers, mentors, and this is why we feel it really works as a good step into a good career. So our program is a 6-week training program. It was developed by our co-founder Gaspar Rodriguez, and it's class-based learning. So what we also, it's different to many other programs that you find that's online learning these days. The class-based learning really gives the space for people to have the sense of a community, to learn from each other, to also meet people. And yes, our candidates are mostly high. At the end of the 6 weeks, they do the Salesforce admin exam, and they are mostly hired by as junior administrators or consultants, analysts, or developers. These are, of course, junior roles in Salesforce. Yes, we've graduated 165 people to date, so we're very excited about that. And we're currently active in the Netherlands, the UK, and Germany.
Liam, that sounds great. But then, if you look at the way we as Cloud Team also look at talent pools, we implement ERP solutions. One of them is we focus on implementing accounting solutions or on human capital solutions. What we actually look for is people that are really have a background in accountancy or a background in human resources, because that is much more difficult to learn than to become familiar with implementing Salesforce. And I don't mean it like in a bad way, but that's easier than to really to understand accounting. How do you as a Refugee Force cope with that?
Well, for us, with the recruitment partners that we are working with, it also really helps to know what kind of industry our partners are in. And I think this is one of the benefits of how our program works with our recruitment partners, because we know the industries that each of them are working in, and because we're working with junior Salesforce talent, but all of our candidates have at least 5 to 7 years of work experience. And this is a whole range of different professional backgrounds with secondary, tertiary education. So what we typically also do is we look at the skills that our partners are looking for, and then we also recruit specifically for those backgrounds and skills. So we get a lot of applications. It's a very our program is done really well. We only accept between 15 to 20% of everyone that applies. So we do get a good pool of people that we can select based on the skills that our recruitment partners are looking for.
Okay. Cloud Team is one of your customers, so we really work with really great talent and very happy with them on board. But how does RefugeeForce work with other employers? So can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yes. So typically we have an annual partnership with our recruitment partners, and this links to what I said earlier with we really see it as a partnership. So for us, it's really about knowing what our customers are looking for and being able to recruit specifically for those skills. And this is also what works so well for us, because our program is in person, it's class-based learning. Our trainers get to know our candidates, and we also know their strengths, their abilities. We also know where they will fare well, in what kind of role will they do well, in what kind of company will they do well. Do they need a small team environment? Would they like a big corporate environment? And because we have that personal connection, we are able to recommend, hey, this person would do great at your company or at that one. And I think this is one of the biggest value adds of working with RefugeeForce, is that matchmaking part.
Yeah, but it can happen that you believe there is a match, and then in practice it seems like that it's actually not. But how do you work with that? Are there any programs that you then have that you can maybe improve certain skills that are missing?
Yes, of course it can happen. That's also why we work closely with the recruitment partners. So we'll see if there are, to be honest, in most parts, we've done good placements. Our I think our re-signing rate is like 95% for employees that stay with companies, or their contracts are renewed. So in general, they do really well. But what we also offer is if someone at a company if they want to add additional skills, then we can also play that role. So we can also help with further training alongside while they are working at the company. We can assist with additional skills, whether they want to learn more on marketing cloud or various different things. That is also where we can play a role with further assistance and training.
And you do that in close collaboration with Salesforce?
We have our own trainers, so
yeah.
And at the moment we're only training in Salesforce, so all the training we are doing is currently Salesforce training. But I would say more we do it in collaboration with the employer, like what is it that you are looking for, and we design something around that. Of course we use trailheads, and we use all the Salesforce, everything that is at our disposal.
You had really great visibility on Dreamforce not so long ago, and I can't remember her name anymore, but she was. Yeah. Does that mean that RefugeeForce is becoming international now, or is it still local, or what? How could you please tell us more?
Yes, Sima. Oh, that's such a fantastic story, and of course we have many amazing stories, and we're hoping to also to be able to create to tell more of these stories as well. Obviously, Salesforce did this production, so we're just so happy because it's captured so beautifully. At the moment, yeah, like I said, Europe. Yeah. We have had a lot of interest from the US and Canada. At the moment, it's really for us about perfecting this. So we're a startup. We've not been running that long, and we want to make sure we do it properly here before we do a big scale up. So we did get some support as well from Salesforce, which was amazing this year, which helped us to scale up across Germany, especially also in relation to the situation in Ukraine. Yeah. So that was a wonderful boost for our business. Yes, so not America quite yet, not that I know of, but it is very exciting. And of course, there's a big need. So
no, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And not only for Salesforce, there are so many other businesses that also
Yes.
need lots of people. So I think there's so much more to do. If you look at and obviously you support that strategic alignment. What we do, Cloud Team, with RefugeeForce is one of, I think, a really good investment and that we can make as an employer. But hiring from such not only bring in new ideas into the company and new energy, but it also promotes retention. Do you agree with this statement?
Yes, definitely. I think in the first place, there's such a high demand for tech talent, especially juniors now, new to the ecosystem that will become highly skilled professionals in 2 or 3 years. That is very important work that needs to be done. I think from my point of view, it is something that we all need to work together on. So it's not one initiative that's going to change this. So when whether it comes to everybody needs to play their role, whether it's training or mentoring or sponsoring or hiring, but we need these different pieces to work together so that we can add this new talent into this ecosystem and also to retain good talent. Yeah. I think my second point on that is that, I mean, so much research has shown that a diverse team contributes to new insights, it promotes innovation, it has a positive impact on the performance of a company. And demographics are changing around us in Europe. So we can't keep only looking at the same talent pool. We also companies need to invest in the recruitment and training of a diverse talent pool.
Yeah, I think you're fully right. When we had that call prior to this event, we also talked about metrics. Why do you think employee retention is higher when you hire employees from social enterprise such as RefugeeForce?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, our candidates are highly motivated, loyal, enthusiastic, hardworking, and refugees come with a unique perspective towards the future. They've left many things behind, but this makes them very driven and very enthusiastic and eager to succeed. So that you know already from this pool. And then secondly, also recruitment. I think the way in which we recruit, we have a rigorous 4-step selection process. We don't really look at CVs. We really look at the whether they will succeed in a Salesforce career, and we really select for motivation, eagerness to learn, drivenness. And I think that's also, it's one of the great benefits when you work with us, because we've almost done your kind of pre-selection for you. You know that that's the kind of effort that went into recruiting our people.
Yeah, but you also use data to really understand, okay, how helpful it is to hire refugees from different talent pool. What you mentioned during that call was that the what was it called? You mentioned the loyalty rate. So being loyal to a company who actually hires someone from another country that is forced to leave is much higher than any other employment group.
Yes, indeed. Our loyalty, well, yes, our retention rate is 95%. So I don't know the exact rates by sector. I think Wally would know them well, but I'm pretty sure the average turnover rate in the tech industry is higher than 5%, and that is what you get with our candidates. So yes, I think retention rates are really good.
And you come across lots of companies. You talk to lots of customers in your role. What kind of companies have you worked with and that actually experience a higher retention, in your opinion? What kind of industries?
Kind of companies, I wouldn't say maybe types of industries, but the kind of companies that I find where our candidates really do well and where there's high retention is really, I mean, this was spoken about a lot before early on the call.
Yeah.
But culture is so important. So I find also our people are happy when there's good culture, when they feel there's a team environment. And this I've seen across different sectors or industries. It's not even specifically about the type of work that they do. But when the culture is right, people will stay.
It's still remains culture. It's funny, but metrics as well.
Yeah.
In your opinion, I also asked the other group, what are some of the enabling factors and strategies companies can take and to increase employee retention? What
Yes.
what would you advise besides
I think
RefugeeForce?
I think especially when hiring our candidates, stability is important. Also that the role is clear and that expectations of the role is clear. This was also mentioned a bit earlier. Secondly, learning and development is so important. Because our people are highly motivated, they want to learn, they will be loyal to the company. So if you tune in on what their talents are, if there's a mentorship program where somebody takes an interest in them and says, okay, kind of helps them map out a career path, then that goes a long way. And in that way, I don't think the salary. I think the fact that if somebody is willing to help them with the learning development is so much more important than just the salary itself. Yeah, and then I think Bastian mentioned sincere attention earlier, and I love that because I think something that is real, somebody that really takes an interest, and of course that also helps with the entire team environment and culture that you cultivate.
Well, absolutely, I fully agree. Okay, yeah, we come to an end also for this part. Thank you very much for your insights on who is RefugeeForce. And I think everyone in the audience should have a call with Leon to further discuss if she can help you with providing Salesforce minded colleagues. So thank you very much, Leon, for your time.
Thank you, Jaap.